and welcome everyone to Breakpoint. So, we are at the end of season 2. First of all, I would like to thank all the guests and especially all of you for listening and providing all the support throughout the year. This year, we launched the Breakpoint YouTube channel, so you can watch all the episodes, but you can also relate better to what our awesome guests had to say.
It's been an amazing series. Please do listen. A lot of genres of talks. You can go back to season 1 and listen to the variety of talks that were provided. A lot of great insights, a lot of industry greats and well-knowledged people come and talk on the show.
This has been a very raw episode where we could talk about pretty much everything and all our, experience in terms of anecdotes. That is what really matters when you hear a podcast.
First podcast for me, I was very nervous.
Okay.
In ways more than one, I think I still am. But it was nice experience.
I like the fact that you wanted to dive into one topic. I generally don't see that in a lot of podcasts or any other interview kind of a system. And I think you also put in a lot of research hours for this, so I think that was evident and I appreciate that.
It was really great, good exercise. While talking, I got few ideas as well. So always welcome to brainstorm on the thing that you're passionate about.
My effort in season 2 was to get hands-on practitioners who understand both the attack and the defense side of things and are consistently innovating as they build the security layers for their organizations or clients. I myself personally thoroughly enjoyed all the conversations that we had on the various episodes that we had. So whether it was, for example, malspams and Dicoms as payload, which is where it started, to automating everything under the sun, right? Like the usual suspects like the DevSecOps, but also things like policy as code. So as a pattern I've been seeing, we have been discussing a lot around security as code and how to automate whatever happens recurringly. We also discuss things like hardware security, firmware security, as well as supply chain security for things like IoT devices, and especially the smart devices and all. And we are also at the other end talking about controlling the SaaS sprawl across our organizations. So there have been a wide range of topics that we have discussed. Here's a roundup from the episodes. Please go ahead and take your pick.
The main thing I see is employee awareness. I mean, education is the most important. You can buy $1 trillion firewall, or you can have an NGFW, which is backed by a PFSense, which is backed by a big spanking set of big Yara rules and everything. But end of the day, you have an employee. Let's take a hospital example, right? Please check all it takes a receptionist to click on something. Very simple. Now, if you go to most of the hospitals in India, the receptionist has an absolute access to everything. Employee awareness is the key here, and you should educate your employees in a very gamified manner on latest threats. That's very, very important. And I feel gamification is the biggest solution to this. Nothing more, nothing less.
Being a trainer for a few years, I can actually vouch a statement that the best way to learn something is to teach. When we build a security champion program for maybe a specific team, and if these people keep changing, right? I mean, there are new people coming in and whatnot. I've seen I've encouraged them to do it, and they started practicing it, and it was effective. Which is, if I train one individual, or maybe 3 individuals, spreading to like 3 different departments, they started delivering these trainings internally. And by doing it, they actually create a culture of security education within the team.
Imagine you're an F1 team. The driver, everything has to be around the driver. Now, why is the driver prioritized over anything else? You could have the best mechanics, the engine mechanic, the tire mechanic, the person who changes the tire. They're all like specialists, right? The fuel person and all that. But the person executing is the driver in F1. right? And what's their North Star? What are they trying to get to? At a championship level, the team and the driver want to have the maximum points, because that tells you that this car and this driver can drive in different types of conditions, different types of tracks, and beat the others. What is the North Star for a business? It's either to get more customers, get more profit from the customers, right? Meet its shareholder obligations. If that is the case, any other metric apart from what is meant for the developers, any other security metric means nothing.
Let's say tomorrow there is a connected device you use in your home for whatever purpose, a small device, maybe $20, $50 device, and you've been using it for 2 years, doesn't work anymore. What do? You throw it in the dustbin, right? Yeah. So do you know how much information that device still has on you? And the simplest and the easiest to and one which has the most impact are your Wi-Fi credentials. They're still on the device.
Of course, yeah.
So and that's just that any device will have. Then based on the use case, it will have different data on you.
If I understand correctly, you're saying start open source, and then eventually you can look at paid tools later on, depending on what your actual requirements are.
Yes, I think this kind of a strategy or an approach always helps in bringing that funding related conversations with your leadership, right? See, the moment you start a conversation where these things, you want a commercial tool, any person would ask you, like, why wouldn't you start with basics? If there are open source tools which can do this, let's start with it. There might be certain capabilities which the open source tool may not be doing it from out of the box installations. For that, you need to build a case which you can have a radical conversation or matured conversation with the leadership. So this is a very important quality that every leader should try and see in security, that start as basic as possible, try and understand as much as your landscape requires and see the appetite, right?
Understanding the framework itself was a bigger challenge for me as well. So when MITRE launched their version, I think version 7 way back in 2019, that is where my journey with MITRE started. So me and my team, we started thinking about how do we, kind of look at MITRE, how do we approach MITRE, how do we read MITRE, and it all started from there. And I still remember at that point of time, MITRE attack framework had two different parts in the enterprise metrics itself. It was called as the pre-attack and attack. And at that point of time, attack consisted of, I think, 12 tactics and 185 unique techniques, and somewhere close to 230 or 235 unique sub-techniques. And when we looked at the pre-attack, what made sense for us is to include recon-related tactics from the pre-attack and then cover all the tactics, from the enterprise attack. That's where we started.
Most of the resistance comes from the fact that people don't know about 27001. That is one. Second is, people have preconceived notions about security and what it can do to their freedom. They think that, okay, if security comes, then there will be huge passwords that we can't remember, and we have to change passwords every 10 days. We face all sort of challenges. Or we have to do it like this. We cannot talk about the company anywhere. Those all sort of things happen. So awareness plays a major role. Even today, I would say 50 to 60% of security work or information security work is awareness. People are smart. So you just need to take them through this and they will instantly understand.
We do a lot of security automation implementation. So we do a lot of DevSecOps work, security automation work. So probably one of the most complicated ones that has been a resounding success. Of course, we've had a couple of ones where there were some unrealistic expectations also from the customer. But in most cases, people understand what they're getting into. So with Policy as Code, one of the biggest successes that we've had, and the most complex one as well. So your biggest successes tend to be one of those which have been the hardest fought, right? One of those biggest successes for us.
The threat that arises from SaaS is still latent in nature. Like people are like, it exists, but people are not aware about it. So it becomes a bigger security challenge. So yeah, I hope this will help in creating some awareness about that. And it's a step in the right direction.
The evolution will continue because we are always going to be confronted with new use cases based on how the surrounding ecosystem evolves. That is always going to be the case. And with identity, unless we find a way in which we fundamentally redefine authentication altogether and authorization altogether, it seems that the scale of the problem will continue to keep growing. Right? The scale will continue to grow. As the scale grows, new use cases present themselves. And on that trajectory itself, you're going to see continued innovation until a point where it becomes a technology that is just something that you have.
So, hope you enjoyed the episodes and you've checked them all out. If not, go back and check out all the episodes from Season 2. Remember to subscribe and share further. We will be back in Season 3 with a lot more interesting conversations. Let me know, DM me in LinkedIn and elsewhere to let me know what do you like to see going further. Until next time, Breakpoint signing off.